Hello and welcome, every pony. This is Silverwings, coming at you today to discuss an aspect of this show that holds a special place in my heart and possibly was the main reason why I started watching. The music. The writers and composers of this show have gone far beyond the usual diabetic tripe that infects shows like this and brought something that anyone can sing along with. Is every single one a hit? No, there are plenty that miss the mark of excellence. I don't really think any song is bad. Certainly there have been cringeworthy ones out there, but they all have their own charm. Now, to be clear, I'm only looking at songs that have been part of seasons 1 through 5. Nothing from Equestria Girls or the other musical videos Hasbro has put out are eligible. I'll get to those later. So, sit back and enjoy as I count down.
There's music in the treetops, and there's music in the vale, and all around the music fills the sky. There's music
The top 10 musical numbers of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. Number 10. Our Town. If the show is lacking in one thing, it's villain songs. Despite the upbeat tempo of this tune, I still consider it to be an antagonistic number. Just listen to these lyrics sung by the chorus. The way Starlight Glimmer rounds up her people and makes certain that each one is conforming to her ideals with something as simple as a look. Then they're rewarded with a smile and happy words. Initially, people assumed this was a communistic society, and I can see where you might jump to that conclusion, but it acts more like a cult. A charismatic leader, followers looking for a place to belong, rules for conformity and uniform. All of these smack of a cult of personality.
Look in my eyes, what do you see? The cult of personality.
Number 9. I'll Fly. Something I noticed when going back through all the different songs and their singers was one pony seemed to be absent when it came to solo numbers. She had choral parts and solos in a greater whole, but nothing that was her own. Rainbow Dash was devoid of songs that fit her and helped tell her story. While ponies like Twilight and Applejack were singing about family, Dash had nothing. She had one duet with Fluttershy and May the Best Pet Win, but it wasn't enough. Though, until Season 5, that one would have taken this spot. I'll Fly is an amazing number and the perfect way to convey Dash's feelings towards her faithful pet, Tank. She sings of wanting to be together always and shows her willingness to go to any extreme in order to achieve this. Despite the other Pegasi bringing in winter, Dash is determined to keep her friend around, and she'll do it with a song in her heart.
keep the weather warm for you, and the winter will never stop.
Number 8. Pinky's Lament. Pinkie Pie is a cavalcade of extremes. She never does anything halfway. Anytime she shows an emotion, it's always to an extreme, whether happiness, anger, cruelty, or sadness. Nowhere does this come through more than in her songs. Pinky's Lament shows her go through a spectrum of feeling unappreciated to determination to prove her worth when a new party pony comes to town. All her friends seem enamored with this new face, and Pinky feels left out in the cold. Her initial reaction is just to give it all up, stop being who she was meant to be. It isn't until she goes back and looks at all the different parties she planned and how happy every pony was that she resolves not to be forgotten so easily. The song ends with her at her best, decked out in party regalia and ready to show the town who she really is. And it only gets crazier from there.
For I am Pinky, the bestest party pony around.
Number 7. A True Friend. The Season 3 finale has mixed reactions among the fandom, both because of how short it was compared to the story it could have told and other obvious things. Still, this was the first chance the writers took in making a musical episode, and I don't think it flopped as hard as some think it did. Sure, it could have been longer, fleshed out a bit more story, but the best part was that the songs helped move the story along, so we didn't need exposition to explain some things. A lot of times when a song happens in the show, everything stops. There is no forward motion to move the story. Not the case with this one. From the first instance of Twilight working to right her wrong, The song helps tell the story of how she puts her friends' cutie marks back where they belong. It culminates in a grand, town-wide chorus that ends on such a note of happiness that you can't help but be glad along with them. Number 6. Winter Wrap-Up. Like True True Friend, this song has individual parts leading into a big chorus number, but this one does it better. The opening is very artistic with the shadow stills of the ponies, and it gets everyone involved quickly. The explanation of how Ponyville citizens transitioned from winter to spring was an early sign that the writers knew that they could tell part of their story through song. Twilight's insecurity about what she could possibly do without using magic shows us the tradition and how much she wants to be a part of it. There are also a lot of little touches to this song I like. Example, the inclusion of background ponies in this song. We get to see not only the main 6 doing something, but every pony has a role to play, even if they don't know what it is just yet.
I really like this scene with Applejack, Cherryberry, and Golden Harvest, showing that it isn't a problem faced by our leading ladies alone.
Also, the little turn of the head at each chorus adds a layer that makes this such a memorable song.
Winter wrap up, let's finish our holiday cheer. Winter wrap up, 'cause tomorrow's spring is a hot tub in the pride.
Number 5. You'll Play Your Part. At the end of Season 4, Twilight begins asking the question that we were all wondering for the past 24 episodes. What is her duty as a princess of Equestria? What is expected of her? After a particularly spirit-crushing acknowledgement that she doesn't mean a lot, she tells this to her fellow princesses, and they attempt to show her that all things will be revealed in time. Twilight's feelings of uselessness don't disappear by the end either. She gets reassurance that she earned that crown, well, that crown anyway, but something inside her still isn't convinced. Celestia, Luna, and Cadance really put their best hoof forward to make Twilight understand, and we get to see the best part of the song, Princess Trio Singers. Never before and never since have we heard these 3 harmonize like this, and I think it's a waste of an opportunity to never show it again. Only this time, let Twilight sing with them instead of giving them separate verses. The power of music is stronger than you think.
You are a princess, you'll play your part. It's a hot tub in the pride.
Number 4. Light of Your Cutie Mark. Who wasn't completely floored when the Cutie Mark Crusaders rose into the air and came down with their cutie marks? This episode left a bigger impact on me than probably even the finale. I enjoyed every moment, and things moved so fast I barely realized that 20 minutes have gone by at the end. Light of Your Cutie Mark was the pivotal moment of this episode. Just when you think Diamond Tiara is starting to come around, she falls back into her old ways, ready to take down Pipsqueak from his new position. It's up to the Crusaders to show her the folly of her ways, and they eagerly charge forth to accomplish this task. Like Play Your Part, I loved hearing these 3 singers pull together an incredible melody that I knew that they were capable of, but hadn't really heard in any standout way. Anytime these 3 fillies sing, it's an enjoyment to the ears. Well, almost any time. And this song has the added effect of storytelling and emotional range from fear to optimism. It was a wonderful song for a fantastic episode.
See the light, and see the light of your cutie mark. It's a hot tub in the pride.
Number 3. This Day Aria. As I said before, the show lacks good villain songs. Really, any villain songs. The writers changed a lot of what we came to expect from music in the show with this one. Listen to the slow piano intro and the feeling of joy in Chrysalis Cadance's first words. It changes in an instant from light and joyful to menacing. We get a further shift and the music goes into a higher range for the real Cadance's response verse. We see her fear, her desperation that she might be too late to save her would-be husband. This also allows her to show her love and why she is who she is. The back-and-forth verses intensify with every shift, with Chrysalis Cadance making a general mess of her room, probably an allegory for how she messed up real events, and real Cadance pushing herself to escape her imprisonment. The ending isn't a happy one either, with real Cadence letting her fear take over if only for a moment, and Chrysalis Cadence about to say her I do's. We will always remember this song as a game changer for how future musical numbers would be judged.
Every pony will gather round. See, I look lovely in my gown. What they don't know is that I have fooled them all.
Number 2. The Smile Song. This is the song that every brony knows by heart. The one we all sing when we get together. What can I say that hasn't already been raved about? Listen to the cheerful tones, the upbeat melody. Look at how she does whatever she can to make sure no pony is frowning or sad. I especially like the tempo change not once, but twice to a slightly slower beat that lets you catch your breath before giving you the big payoff. The facial reactions, the marching down the street, all the ponies coming together to show their happiness and joy. Until recently, this was my favorite song of the show and still holds a place in my heart. I will never forget, when things seem bad, just to
Smile, 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 smile. Come on and smile. Come on and smile.
Before I get to number 1, I have a few honorable mentions I'd like to address. These aren't necessarily ones that just missed out on a top 10 spot, but they have their own charm that deserves attention. Celestia's Ballad. This was the first instance we got to hear Celestia show off her singing voice in the show, and I'm inclined to give her more opportunities to showcase her talent. Couple this with the reminders of Twilight's journey and the eventual outcome, I can't help but feel a little warm on the inside when I hear it. At the Gala. As far as season finales go, this one wasn't a very memorable one, but it did help show just what a magical night this could be to each pony and why. While the reality didn't live up to the fantasy, it was still an experience they won't soon forget. May the best pet win. Until All Fly came along, this was my go-to song for Rainbow Dash. It was her only major song, even though it was technically a duet. It was still about her, which was something we didn't have up to this point. The change in tempo and attitude at the end helped bring out the importance of this decision. Alright, here we go. Number 1. I Am Just a Pony. I have one primary rule when it comes to the music I like and listen to over and over. If your music can't elicit an emotion out of me, I have no use for you. I may still listen because I think it's catchy, or just not change the station if it comes on the radio, but those kind of songs will never see a place on my top anything. The main attraction was an episode that came out of nowhere for me. I remember surfing Twitter in the days before and seeing all these posts about a new voice actress and singer. I saw one name over and over, Lena Hall. It intrigued me and I learned what I could about her. Cool, she's a Broadway actress, so we know she's got talent. Okay, she's going to sing, makes sense. Well, that was an okay number, nothing spectacular despite the lyrics saying differently. Why all the hype over a guest character?
Now I feel my stars align.
What is that and how do I make it my personal theme? At the end of the episode, Countess Coloratura has left behind the dazzling lifestyle she's been living and adopts a different approach to music. Gone are the lighting, vocal effects, and smoke machines, and in their place is a pony singing from her heart. It's almost a plea for forgiveness from her fans for letting herself appear in a way that wasn't her real self. She cries out for them to see her not as a famous pop singer, but as a regular pony that's flawed. As with others, the visuals help put this song over the top. Starting with a simple backdrop of Coloratura playing the piano, it builds as unicorns light their horns in appreciation. Then the silhouettes of the musicians bring more to the already mesmerizing musical notes playing over the crowd. Finally, her cutie mark lights up and she belts out an affirmation that the Coloratura they used to know is gone. In her place is a pony that she believes she can face in the mirror and, more importantly to her, one that her friend can be proud of.
I thought I was just like the magic inside of you.
I hope you all enjoyed this. Please let me know your favorite songs in the comments. As always, I'm Silverwings, and keep flying high, Pegasi.
Dark